Hello and welcome to the first edition of the Bullet Broadcast. We are so excited to start this show and we thank you for tuning in today. Now, here at the Bullet Broadcast, we know how hard it is to keep up with all the current events, especially over a vacation filled with family and friends. So, here are your top news stories from the break. On January 7th, 5 people were killed and 8 were injured when a shooter emerged from the bathroom inside the Fort Lauderdale, Florida airport and fired bullets into the crowd of people waiting for their bags inside one of the baggage claim areas. The gunman was detained by the police and identified as Esteban Santiago. Santiago was flying from Alaska to Florida. He declared his gun and kept it in his luggage. Once the plane landed, he retrieved his luggage and went into the bathroom to load his gun. He is in custody and is cooperating with the police. The exact cause of the attack is unknown. Moving on to the 2016 presidential election, although the election ended quite some time ago, people still can't stop talking about it. During the break, the focus was on election hacking, if there was any, and if so, who by. All sorts of organizations have been accused of tampering or hacking into everything from emails to the election results themselves. Both the Democratic and Republican parties have been accused of hacking in some way. Russia has also been accused of hacking in order to sway the U.S. election. And yet, everyone accused has claimed they are innocent. Whether any of them are has yet to be seen. And while we're talking about the election, President-elect Donald J. Trump will be inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States on Friday. Trump will take the oath of office at 11 a.m. Central Time and can be watched via live streaming or any news major outlet.
Could I ask you one question? How does it feel? I said, how does what feel? He said, you've done something that nobody else has ever done. He said, it's very interesting. I think I'm on 14 covers. I'm on more covers than any supermodel in history. Can you believe it?
As the Trump administration moves into the White House, we sent reporter Delaney Kelly to find out what people's reactions were to the end of President Obama's time in office.
As Oklahoma State students are anxiously preparing for the spring semester, America is preparing for the presidential inauguration as we welcome a new president into office. I was curious to know how OSU students felt about the upcoming transitions.
I think with Trump taking over, you have to give him the opportunity to succeed just like any president that you would. He's either going to be a great president or a horrible president, but we just have to let him decide that for himself.
I'm really sad to see President Obama leave office. I think regardless of how you feel about his policies or healthcare or any reforms he's done, I think it's very obvious that he is just an admirable person with his character.
The presidential inauguration right around the corner and the extremely controversial candidates involved, it was interesting to hear the different emotions that OSU students had regarding the upcoming changes in office.
I feel like a lot of people feel kind of threatened just because of Trump's views on minorities and immigration and things like that. I'm not really too into politics myself, but I feel like if we're wanting to avoid policies where immigration or minorities or anything like that is taken advantage of, we need to come together and make a stronger political push so that we can fight any policy that we're afraid of that's going to affect us as a whole. So,
will he do something great or will he not? We don't know, So we'll just have to see. Everybody will just have to pray and stay strong.
Even though there are many different political views, as OSU Cowboys, it is our job to respect our peers and stay loyal and true to one another as people.
Thanks, Delaney. With Obama leaving the White House and the Trump administration about to move in, the first thing Trump wants to accomplish is the repeal of Obamacare within the first few days. Trump has been adamant about how he would repeal the Affordable Health Care Act and put into place a new plan. The repeal of Obamacare would leave 18 million people without insurance. No one is quite sure what the president-elect's plan is, but sources have been quoted saying the heart of his plan is, quote, insurance for everyone, unquote. And now, over the break, there was a series of terrorist attacks, the first taking place at a Berlin Christmas market where a tractor trailer drove into a crowd of people on a Monday, December 19th. Killing 12 and injuring 48 people, the police investigated the crash as an act of terrorism. The attack was later linked to ISIS, and the driver of the bus, Anis Amari, was killed in a shootout in Italy. Now over to Istanbul, where in the early hours of New Year's Day, a man opened gunfire into a nightclub. The attack left 39 people dead and many others wounded. ISIS claimed responsibility for the attack, and hours later the police had someone in custody. The gunman was arrested in Turkey and admitted to the shooting. The Russian ambassador to Turkey was assassinated on December 19th, Ambassador Andrei Karlov was at an art gallery in Ankara. The gunman shouted, quote, "Do not forget Aleppo," unquote. Russian President Vladimir Putin said the killing was a clear provocation aimed at undermining not just the normalization of Russian-Turkish relations, but also to the peace process in Syria. Megyn Kelly, a Fox News anchor and TV personality, is leaving Fox News and moving over to NBC later this year. She will be pursuing broader interests with NBC, which is what drove her to make the move in the first place. President Obama awarded Vice President Joe Biden with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, January 12th. This is the country's highest civilian honor, and when asked, Biden said, quote, "This honor is not only well beyond what I deserve, but it is a reflection of the extent and generosity of your spirit," unquote. The notable celebrity deaths over the break include Debbie Reynolds and her daughter Carrie Fisher. Reynolds is famous for being a Hollywood star just like her daughter. She is most notable for her role in Singing in the Rain, while Fisher is known for her role as Princess Leia in the original Star Wars trilogy. Actor Alan Thicke also passed away along with Eugene Cernan, who was the last man on the moon. Now, on to more local news. Have you ever had an unexpected visitor over the holidays? Someone who wasn't quite invited? Well, one Stillwater business had a real party crasher at the beginning of the holiday season. Reporter Allie Bond has more.
Oh, shit.
On November 10th, 2016 at 7:30 p.m., American Eagle got an unexpected visitor. A deer decided to bolt through the doors, and after frantically running around the store, it went head first, antlers and all, through the glass window right there.
The peculiar incident, which happened last November, made national news, but shopper Taylor Cutler says it's not the strangest thing that's happened.
I definitely thought it was surprising, but this is Oklahoma, so I'm sure more crazy things have happened. But definitely kind of surprising that happened in the middle of Stillwater and not really in a rural part.
Following the incident, the store had to temporarily close its doors to clean up the mess. This closure caused some delays for shoppers hoping to make the jean sale that week.
At the end, I still was able to receive the sale price, but it was a little inconvenience.
Whether you're an American Eagle employee, frequent shopper, or interested onlooker, this deer caught everyone by surprise.
American Eagle has since fixed the damages and is having business as usual. More recently, a big controversy is hitting OSU over an Instagram post. On Monday, Martin Luther King Day, a student at the university posted a photo of her and 3 friends in a facial mask that social media construed as racially insensitive. The post read, quote, "Celebrating our first MLK Day off of school," unquote. Blackface is known as the makeup used by non-black performer playing a black role. OSU has put out a statement saying it, quote, "does not condone this insensitive behavior," unquote, and are talking to the appropriate people for the situation. Claims have been made that it is a facial cream of some sort in the photo. What the girls intended is unknown. And for our last story of the day, January 10th, Adacia Chambers, the woman who drove her car into the 2015 Sea of Orange Parade, pleaded no contest to 4 counts of murder in the second degree and 29 counts of assault and battery. The plea deal given was a life sentence for each murder count and 10 years for each assault account. All sentences would be concurrent. Now joining us is our sports reporter, Montel Vidot, for a sports recap of the break. How are you, Montel?
I'm good, Sam. Thank you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first edition of Bullet Broadcast. My name is Montel Vidot, and I'll be bringing you all things sports related and then some. So fasten your seatbelt and let's get this show on the road. You know, it's one thing to defeat Kansas, but it's another to do it in Allen Fieldhouse. Phil Forte is the only active member in the Big 12 to do so, and he was looking to do it again this past Saturday. With just under 6 minutes left in the first half, Devin Dillard finds a cutting Jeffrey Carroll, who in turn finds Forte backpedaling for a sweet corner 3. A few minutes later, Brandon Averett hits Lindy Waters, who then hits Carroll for his own corner 3. This would put the Cowboys up 5. The Jayhawks wouldn't go away, though. Frank Mason finds Devontae Graham, who would hustle and muscle his way to put them down 4 and close out the half. With the start of the second, Kansas wasted no time as Sviatoslav Mikhailuk drives and kicks to hit Graham for a wide-open 3 to close the gap. The game would continue to be cat and mouse until Kansas would finally take the lead. OSU wouldn't go away lightly, though. Down the stretch, Jawan Evans would drive baseline and find Dillard, who puts a move on the defender and finishes strong at the rim for a 3-point opportunity. However, he would miss the free throw. Forte would put up one more shot of the night, but Kansas walked away with the game sealed. The Cowboys would go on to lose 87-80, with Carroll having a game-high 23 points and Mitchell Solomon with a career-high 16. They're looking to bounce back when they host the Kansas State Wildcats Wednesday night in Gallagher, Iowa. And for the Cowgirls, they stayed home to host the 25th-ranked Kansas State Wildcats and came up short, losing 63-43. They are now 2-4 in Big 12 games. Kaylee Jensen was the only player to score in double digits. She finished with 15 points and 5 blocks. Same court but different sport. On Sunday, the number 1 ranked wrestling team in the nation, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, took on the number 3 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes in what was to be a premier matchup. Or that's at least what the fans thought. Almost 8,000 showed up, making it the largest home attendance for OSU since 2007. The large crowd would not be disappointed, as the Cowboys would hand the Hawkeyes its first loss of the season and move on to 6-0. A major upset from Cade Brock led to the first of 3 consecutive wins. When the Hawkeyes attempted a comeback, redshirt sophomore Chandler Rogers ended all hope when he pinned Skylar St. John for a 15-7 lead. The Cowboys will host West Virginia and South Dakota State next weekend and look to stay undefeated. Well, that is all the time I have for you guys. Make sure to catch my next segment on Bullet Broadcast next week. Back to you, Sam.
Thanks, Montel. Well, that's our show. Make sure to tune in next Thursday for another edition of Bullet Broadcast. I'm Sam Stockard. Goodbye, everyone.